Harish Saluja, Executive Director of the Silk Screen Festival, Silk Screen
Arts and Culture Organization.
And it's been highly operational here in Pittsburgh for quite a few years.
This is our 9th year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big 1-0 coming up around the
10th
bend.
year coming up. I think I'll lose the remaining 5 hair I have.
But you earned that, though. Now, as a filmmaker, what really drives you in putting a film together?
Well, films, I think the best description is storyteller. I love to tell stories. I enjoy telling stories. In fact, my friends tell me that how over the years they hear the same stories, and within 4 years they don't recognize it anymore because it has been embellished so much. When did that happen? When did that car come in? And so forth and so forth. So that's my passion. So I tell it whether it's through music or writing or through painting, but movies, of course, are the best vehicle for that. So I always wanted to indulge in the arts, and as I mentioned earlier, I want to make a difference because my mother told me that I need to make a difference in the world, and I know art more than anything else. So I paint. I've been painting all my life and showing all my life, and I love music. My mother was a musician and know a lot about Indian music particularly. I don't know if you heard Indian music.
I love it.
Yeah, it sounds like people having stomach problems.
Well, I mean,
that's what
it's one description. Yeah.
But it goes back, 3,000-4,000 years. There's beautiful, unbelievably charming, wonderful, inspirational music and so forth.
Yes.
And Indians really get off on that. So I started a radio program. I ended up in Pittsburgh because I had come here for 2 weeks from New York to see how Pittsburgh was. And I'm still here.
So you liked it, I take it.
Well, I got lost,
It kept you.
Pittsburgh doesn't have road signs sometimes. You go in downtown, 6th Street becomes Avenue and so forth.
That's how we get people to move here. They get stuck. It's like a fly trap.
We had people who came from Chicago last Thanksgiving, to visit us. Mm-hmm. And on the way back, they said, that they wanted to see downtown. So we gave them directions. Mm-hmm. And this was Thanksgiving around October, November, whatever. They went downtown. They still haven't come back. So I was in Pittsburgh, and I got into publishing, and I was there for about almost 30 years and so forth. I started my radio program on the old WDUQ NPR station,
and it is still running.
It is still running,
and I believe it is the longest running program of its kind. Is that correct?
The music program, we think, in the world by the same host, and Dr. Vijay Bal, helps me do it every other week. It's 42 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Volunteers, thank you. Volunteers who buy our own music. About 15 years ago, I decided to get out of the magazine business and start making movies because then I could reach a bigger audience. And so we made 2-3 movies. One of them did very well, called The Journey, which went around the world and got awards everywhere, and was on TV, Independent Film Channel, IFC showed it and so forth. Anyway, so after that, I got involved with, because of the movie, lots of prominent people in town saw the movie. Pittsburgh had never been shown such a beautiful way, and here's the story of Indian Americans in Pittsburgh. It was a comedy and so forth. And I got involved with many groups and meetings about the future of Pittsburgh. Why aren't we progressing? Why don't we attract immigrants? Even though 50-60% of postgraduate students in the universities are Asian Americans, people don't stay here. They go to Silicon Valley, they go to Boston, they go to New York. And remembering Richard Florida's book, Rise of the Creative Class, people don't go somewhere only because they have a good job. People want to know if their lifestyle would be welcome. Look at what we do. We do have a St. Patrick's Day parade. We should. We have a Columbus Day parade. We should. But the Italians and the Irish are not coming to Pittsburgh anymore. It's the Indians who are coming. It's the Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. That's 2/3 of the world population. And the 2 of the biggest economies in the world, soon to be 2nd and 3rd economies in the world. So once you're sitting around on a table and from an Indian or a Chinese, you should know their culture because they know ours. And suddenly take out an Indian to lunch and offer or invite him for lunch and cook beef, may not be a good idea. Some do, some don't eat, but you need to know these things, So I said, Boston does it, New York does it, San Francisco does it. They have an India Day parade. They have a Chinese New Year celebration. We have nothing. And I went around complaining about it to everybody. Like it's my right.
Good. Yeah.
And then one day, somebody at a foundation lunch said to me, "Why are you going around bitching and moaning? You're an American citizen. You know Asia. You've been to Asia. I speak 6 languages. You know music, you know art, you know movies, you know literature, you know artists and musicians and so forth. Why don't you do it?" I firmly believe in Pittsburgh and in the progress of Pittsburgh and the future of Pittsburgh. And it suddenly occurred to me, bulb went off, and I said, yeah, I should be doing it. I'm perfect for this. So I went around asking foundations and people and corporations, and that's what we do. So we started Silkscreen. The idea is to build cultural bridges to and from Asia. Present Asian musicians, Asian American musicians, artists, movies, and other dances and programs where we could, have non-Asians come and participate and watch this thing and learn about each other, about cultures. So that's what we started 9 years ago. So we do about 15 programs per year.
And that's, I think, one of the more important things to mention here, because I, for a long time, had been under the impression that it is just the film festival.
Yes.
But no, you have programming all year round.
All year round. Yeah, we have dance performances. We have 2 smaller documentary festivals at Winchester Thurston's Weekly Academy. We have a jazz band. We take old, ancient music and we give it a jazz look at it. And we're putting Pittsburgh, which has a jazz history, on the world music map in a whole new way. And then we have the film festival,
yes,
which is coming up April 25th to May 4th. 27 films,
wow.
Almost 50 plus screenings and so forth.
And there's a new screening location this year, which is Waterworks.
Waterworks.
So even more opportunity to see.
We have a showing at Regent Square, like we do Regent Square Theatre, Melwood Screening Room, the Carnegie Museum Earth Theatre, and then one screening at Waterworks. So we're going to try it out and see how that works.
And I think that the film festival is a great way for people in Pittsburgh to get a foot in the door and become familiar with this organization, and then you've got the programs going year round that they can keep in touch.
Yeah, and especially these days, most people have traveled or they know people from other countries, and it's a fun way to go. So we were going to start a campaign which we didn't have time for. It says, "See India for $10."
That's brilliant. I like it.
Yeah. So for $10 ticket, you can go and watch a movie, and then if you don't like it, you can sneak out in the dark. Nobody will know.
Who doesn't love a good movie?
I know, but these are good movies.
Indeed.
They're very good movies.
So after 9 years, what have you seen to be the effect of the presence of this organization in Pittsburgh?
It is so heartwarming. There's an old Indian saying. I don't know if you heard about this.
Try me.
It says, I'll translate from Sanskrit, "If you build it, they'll come." Didn't you have a name like that, Harish, which sound like hashish? I know. Tell me about it. So, when you have a name like that, and you're short, bald, old, and ugly, nobody goes out with you. Oh. Not even my wife. You see her here?
Well, with a description like that, come on.
So this is before you were born, many years ago, like 30-some years ago.
I don't know.
Okay.
I bet it would be before, but thank you.
You want to have a cocktail during lunch, you have some wine during lunch, you have a nice
breakfast.
Paella. Next thing you know, you're sleeping. Work doesn't get done in beautiful weather on sand beaches.
You have just described every Monday for me.
There you are. I heard the governor canceled spring. He said there are budget problems. This year we're not going to have any spring. I know him. I know Jim. you heard this old Indian expression, talk the talk and walk the walk, you know.
I didn't know that was Indian.
I didn't know.
Hey, don't be rolling away from me, by the way. Get in here, come here.